Hi YouTube, I'm Chris. This is my show. My life is an adventure. This is a book review, not a toy review. I finished Sara Sheppard's The Perfectionists, which is the first book in her new series. I can already tell there's going to be shadow on this, but whatever. Obviously, I'm not in my normal place. If you're used to watching me, I'm at work. Just finished doing some work and then finished the book, and now I'm doing a review. It's more The Perfectionist is more like Pretty Little Liars than The Lying Game was. If you've read her other two series, which I haven't finished either series. Like, I've read the first 12 or 13 books of The Lying Game, and I've read the first two books of, I've read the first 12 or 13 books of The Pretty Little Liars, and then read the first 2 or 3 books of The Lying Game, but I haven't finished the whole series, either of the whole series. But this is more like the Pretty Little Liars series than it is like the Lying Game series. It involves 5 girls who all in the beginning, had a grudge against the school bully, I guess. He's the rich kid, popular kid, but he's also a bully. I won't tell you any of the details of that, but basically, they're all in the same film class, and they're talking about the perfect murder, I guess. And they, of course, they pick him as their, they all talk about who they would want to get rid of, and they all come up with him. And they discuss how they would do it, and then they actually go so far as to drug him and graffiti his face with, talk about what, the stuff he's done to him, sort of, vaguely. But that's it. And then the next morning, someone stumbles up and finds him dead. So the book is about them trying to figure out who actually killed him, worrying about people thinking they killed him, and dealing with their own personal issues, much like the Pretty Little Liars series. Each of the girls had their own issues. The one thing I like about this book is, if you watch the Pretty Little Liars series, it's quite a bit different than the books too. Number one being that the relationship between Arya and Ezra is glorified. It's made to seem sexy and romantic and whatnot. And in this book, in the Pretty Little Liars books, they're not really a couple for very long. I don't even think they last past the first book. In this book, the student seducing teacher is painted as the bad guy. You see him as creepy, and which is a good thing, because in this day and age, there's a lot of adult male role models who are getting in trouble for seducing people who they should be, protecting. So I was glad to see that side of the story. The issues they're each facing in this is quite a bit different than anything I think we've seen in the Pretty Little Liars. The one girl is dealing with her mother's mental illness and worrying about whether or not she's going to end up the same way. One girl is dealing with her father's the ramifications of her father's physical abuse. which you find out pretty early on. One girl is dealing with... two of the girls are dealing with the pressure of getting into college on scholarships, getting accepted into college on scholarships, and whether or not they actually want to pursue... One girl actually really wants to pursue her passion. The other girl isn't quite sure. She's worried there's too much focus in her life on that, and so... Plus, she's also worried about falling in love with her boyfriend's younger brother, who I'm not sure if he's younger than her or if he's around the same age. And then one girl is dealing with a reputation that was unfounded. So yeah. And she's the girl that's basically the Aria of the book. I'm not real great with reading descriptions and seeing characters in my mind. So it'll be interesting if this gets adapted into a series, a TV series like Pretty Little Liars, who they go with casting. I think there's a there's a blonde, there's a redhead, there's a model-looking brunette. There's a Korean girl. She's adopted in this. She's the one who's worried about falling in love with her boyfriend's younger brother. So there's a lot of... Like I said, I'm not great with reading descriptions and seeing the characters in my mind, but it'll be interesting to see if they try and adapt this, which I can see them trying to, because Pretty Little Liars has got to be reaching its end. I mean, the four main actresses are getting too old to be in a teen series, and I can see them not adapting this because their previous attempts to turn other series into hits, such as the 9 Lives of Chloe King or whatever, and The Lying Game, and a spin-off of Pretty Little Liars called Ravenswood. None of those worked out. But they need a new hit, so I could see him doing either way. Hopefully, I'd like to. I really enjoyed the book. It leaves you with a couple cliffhanger endings. Someone else dies at the end of this book, and But then there's also the mystery of why someone is following two of the girls, and why he was happy to see them together at the end of the book, and told them that they needed each other, that they would help each other. I have a feeling he has good intentions, but that may be the optimist in me. I really want the girl who's in love with her boyfriend's little brother. I want them to get together just because of the whole underdog aspect for the boy. So yeah, it's definitely a new story. It's not rehashing anything from Pretty Little Liars or The Lying Game, and it's kind of an update of all the older Humphrey Bogart murder mysteries. Then There Were None. That's I think the one that they were talking about when they planned this bully's murder. So yeah, Sara Sheppard does a good job writing mystery stories for teens. It's not quite Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys, but which is what I grew up reading. They're a lot more flawed. The characters are, which is a good thing because you don't want perfect characters. Nothing cookie cutter. So that's my review. It's a little long-winded, 10 minutes, ongoing. Let me know what you think if you've read the rest of those series. Don't spoil anything for me though, because like I said, I will eventually finish Pretty Little Liars and The Lying Game. But I wanted to read this before too many more books came out. I was actually kind of dreading finishing this book because I know it's probably going to be another year before the sequel comes out, and I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. I really hate waiting between books. So yeah, I was kind of dreading finishing it, knowing it was the beginning of a series and not just a one-off. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. I'm looking forward to the sequel. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you actually watch this, if anyone watches this, if you've read this. Have a good night. I'll load this up tomorrow morning.